Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're totally skipping the usual, rah-rah motivation stuff. Honestly, motivation is often just for folks who want to hear comforting lies. Instead, we are diving straight into what our source material calls dark observations. We are going to break down exactly how to snap out of the mental prison of fear. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to take a second and really imagine this scenario. Your feet are literally frozen to the floor. Your throat is completely bone dry. And your heart, it's pounding so intensely it feels like it's going to burst right out of your chest. You want to say something, but no sound comes out. Now, pretty much everyone calls this fear. But today, I really want to challenge you on why your body is actually reacting this way. I mean, what if this super intense emotion of fear is actually just an illusion? What if your own brain is kind of acting like your biggest enemy, trapping you in this invisible prison? Our source presents a seriously fascinating premise here. The door to this mental prison, it's actually wide open. That paralyzing fear you feel is really just a glitch. Yep, a biological glitch. You see, you are quite literally designed to be afraid. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, this exact mechanism was your bodyguard. It kept you alive. The problem is, your biological software is incredibly old, but the world we live in today is completely new. Let's see how this actually builds up. So ancient fear was super simple. If the grass rustled, your ancestor ran away. If they didn't, well, a lion ate them. Fear literally kept them alive. But modern fear, it's completely different. There are no lions hiding in the office. The rustling grass today is just talking to a crush, getting up to do some public speaking, or maybe starting a new business. But our bodies are out here reacting to a simple presentation as if it's a deadly predator. It's crazy, but your old brain is literally trying to convince you that if you stutter on stage, you will die. Like, actually die. Your body is firing off the exact same visceral reaction, the sweating, the super fast heartbeat, the feeling like you're going to black out, to a purely social situation as it would to actual imminent death. You know, society loves to feed us this whole myth that victory is beyond fear, treating fear like it's some sort of mystical mountain we have to climb. But the dark truth we're unpacking in this explainer is way more scientific. Fear is literally just a signal. It's nothing more than a chemical manipulation by your genetics. And honestly, as long as you view it as this deep, profoundly meaningful emotion, you are going to remain its slave. And that brings us perfectly to a massive cultural trigger. Log kya kahenge. Or, translated to English, what will people say? It's that feeling when you walk into a room and you just imagine the entire place is staring right at you. You feel like they're just waiting for you to mess up so they can laugh and mock you. This incredibly paralyzing social fear completely dictates how so many of us act every single day. Now, what's really interesting here is the psychology behind that feeling. It's called the spotlight effect. It's basically the illusion that everyone around you is constantly watching, judging, and remembering your every single move. But our source points out a pretty harsh reality. This fear is actually rooted in pure ego and, well, arrogance. You're basically assuming that you are the center of everybody else's universe. Ouch, right? Kinda stings. But wait, here is the incredibly liberating relief in all this. The dark truth is, you just aren't that important. People are simply not thinking about you. They are way too consumed by their own messy lives, their own massive problems, and their own insecurities to actually care about your failures. The idea that they are all obsessing over your mistakes, it's a complete fabrication by your brain. To prove this point, the source shares a super relatable anecdote. So, years ago, when he was just a kid, he slipped on a peel at a wedding and fell really hard. Everyone laughed, and he ran away in absolute terror. He was mortified. But then recently, he saw a young guy take a similar, super embarrassing fall at a wedding. And yeah, the crowd laughed at the poor guy for a second, sure. But then, nothing. They went right back to their food. 10 minutes. Seriously, 10 minutes. That is the absolute maximum amount of time society will actually remember your embarrassing mistake before they completely forget about you. The crowd laughed at that guy who fell, and literally 10 minutes later, they had totally moved on. So your massive, supposedly life-altering embarrassment, it's really just a fleeting 10-minute blip to everybody else. So if people don't actually care that much, what exactly is the core mechanism driving our fear? Well, think about it. We rarely fear what is happening right now in the present moment. I mean, if you're watching this explainer right now, you probably aren't scared at this exact second. Instead, we stress over an imagined future.
We fear future failures, or we just sit around stressing out that we'll lack discipline tomorrow.
And here is a really harsh reality. Your brain, it doesn't actually want to keep you happy. It wants to keep you safe. And for your brain, keeping you safe means keeping you anxious. Overthinking the future literally kills our potential. In fact, the constant stress of just imagining all these future failures traps us in such an agonizing cycle of anxiety that it can literally shave a year off your lifespan, a whole year.
So the crucial point we need to get to is, how do we actually defeat this? The answer is something called the cold water rule. Think about it. If you are terrified of taking a freezing cold shower, what do? Step 1, don't think. Step 2, throw your clothes off. Step 3, jump in immediately. You absolutely have to bypass the brain with immediate, thoughtless action before that ancient survival software even gets a chance to boot up. Let's apply this directly to something like stage fright, or honestly, any major fear. First, do not give your ancient brain even a single minute to think about it. Second, you gotta stop imagining the crowd laughing before you even enter the room. And third, step up immediately. Bypassing the brain like this is literally the only way. Just accept that the absolute worst thing they can do is laugh at you. They are definitely not going to eat you like a lion would.
It all really comes down to this one fundamental truth from our source material. Fear is normal. Everyone's throat goes dry, but the winner is the one who fights the fear. Look, feeling that biological glitch, it's completely unavoidable. Your heart is going to race, but pushing through it with immediate, thoughtless action, that is the only true way to win and actually master your own chemistry. Which leaves us with a final, kind of provocative question to think about. Knowing that your fear is really just an outdated biological glitch, and knowing that absolutely no one is actually obsessing over you, what are you going to choose? Are you going to stay trapped in that mental prison even though the door is wide open? Or will you finally stop overthinking, bypass your own biology, and just jump in? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.